Hello, today is Friday, July 23rd, 2021. My name is Daniel Mullany, and behind the camera is Diego Juarez. Today we are here to film a video source inspection for Sitek Process Solutions. We'll be reviewing two high-profile 8-inch capable spin rinse dryers. So our customer is located here in the United States, and their PO number is 4500001935. Okay, so here we have the systems. These are two brand new systems, and they are configured to run high-profile 8-inch substrates, and they also include inserts to run our high-profile 6-inch and high-profile 4-inch. So let's go ahead and take a look at this system first. So in here you can see we have the insert, which allows you to run our 6-inch substrates. Okay. And in this system, we'll have the same insert, but designed for a 4-inch substrate. So here we go here. So our inserts are easy to use. So you see it just adapts it down. And then if you'd like to change substrate size, you can simply slide the insert out. And slide the 8-inch product in. So really straightforward. Today we'll be demonstrating the 8-inch normal, the rotor by itself, and we'll demonstrate the 6-inch. The 4-inch would run just the same, but we'll leave it up top because we only have two chambers. This order actually includes a 6 and 4-inch insert for both systems. So we have two right here, but the other two are being packaged up to be shipped out today. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll go ahead and get these systems started and then discuss more as we go. Okay, so that's running the first system. Now I'm running the second system. Okay, so these are two new 8-inch capable SRDs, both single standalone systems. I mentioned before they're capable of running 8, 6, and 4-inch. These are configured with all of the standard options for a spin rinse dryer. We have our EMO up front. They are configured from FM4910 material. They have a static eliminator, which prevents static charge from building up in the Teflon cassette at the end of the run. We have resistivity probes here in the back, one for each system. That monitors the wastewater's resistivity to ensure you have quality rinses. And we have a DI water recirculation feature. That water recirculation feature is typically plumbed directly up to the drain box, but it can also be plumbed up to a full facility DI water recirculation. That configuration is up to the end user. Okay, so taking a look here, you also notice that we have our touchscreen controllers included on the system. I'll give a quick rundown of the basics of the controller when we're done with this process. And we also have our light indicators that show the system status. Green means we're currently in a normal process run. Blue means that the process run has successfully completed. Orange means that the system's in idle. And anytime you see a solid red or a flashing red, it means you have some sort of alarm that's occurred. So right now we're in dry one with both systems. So what I'll do is I'll take this time to give a little discussion about proper spin rinse drying in the SRDs. So first you're going to have a rinse step. The rinse step is programmed to provide a quality rinse for the substrates prior to drying. Your substrate should already be coming into the SRD without any contaminants on them. However, some small contaminants can be found when transitioning from a wet bench to the SRD. So what you do is you will initially rinse off the cassette and substrates to ensure that none of those small percentage of chemicals will be released into the chamber, leach onto the walls, or remain on the product during the drying process. That rinse step will typically be somewhere between 1 and 3 minutes, and it will be at a low RPM, somewhere from 300 to 500 RPM. These times are going to be determined by our end users after they go through their own process engineering. After you have your rinse step, it'll be followed up by a purge step. During purge, we're going to ramp up the rotor to its high RPM set point, and during that process, we're going to open up the purge valve, which will blast all of the remaining DI water out of the DI manifold. This is important because it prevents any water that would be residual in the manifold from leaking out onto the substrates during the drying processes. Then we're going to move into dry one. Dry 1 is the high RPM and low time first dry. So as I mentioned, during purge, it's going to ramp up to that high RPM set point. That's what we're going to maintain during the dry 1. That's going to be about 1800 RPM, and you're going to sling the majority of the water off of your substrates. You're spinning fast to really just whip water off. You don't want to spin at that speed for a long time though, because that can increase particle counts in the end. So we'll spin high RPM for maybe 1.5 to 2.5 minutes. Once we've completed that cycle, we're going to go into our dry 2 step, which is where we are right now. During dry 2, we're going to have a longer time, lower RPM process step. So now we're going to ramp down to about 500 RPM, and we're going to run for maybe 3 to 5 minutes at this step. Here we're going to slow down to improve particle counts and let the drying elements of the system complete their job for a nice uniform dry of the cassettes when we're done with the process. So that would really outline a really typical process. Taking a look at our systems right now, we have about a minute and a half left. Both of them are actuating properly. This system currently has the bowl heater on. This one has it turning off for the moment. That's normal. You'll see it yellow right here. That's because, and it just went back to green. That's the bowl heater turning on and off to bounce back and forth between the set point. That's how the SRD maintains a proper temperature of the bowl chamber. So with about a minute left, I'll talk about some of the other capabilities that Sitek has. So where we provide new rinser dryers, we also provide refurbished spin rinse dryers and 100% of the spare parts and services for these systems. So whatever type of rinser dryer you have, whether it's a new Sitek system, a semi-tool system, a Vertex system, Sitek can provide the spare parts and services that you need. That would include controller repairs, motor repairs, amp repairs, rotor rebalancing, windows, door seals, replacement valves, both solenoid and air actuated, upright cylinders, really everything that you need to keep your SRD fleet up and running, Sitek has the capability of providing for you, whether it's a part or a service. And in addition to providing rinser dryers, we also provide a variety of other refurbished equipment to the marketplace. Some of our most popular product lines would be cassette cleaners, such as Floorware HTC box washers, and mask cleaners, Ultratech, Ultra T, and K&S mask cleaners that use a oscillating high pressure arm to clean masks in between any of your runs, most effective for any type of proximity runs that might have resist onto the mask surface. Okay, so now we're completing up. You can see that the rotors are finding their home position. We'll go ahead and take a look at this one first. So blue means successful run. Reaching into the chamber, I can feel that the nitrogen's purging in warm, so that's good to show that we had a nice successful run. I pull out the cassette and substrates. The cassette is warm to the touch, and all the substrates are perfectly dry. Coming over to the second chamber, open it. Again, I can feel the air purging in warm, which is great. Sliding out the cassette and substrates. They are perfectly dry and ready for the next step in the manufacturing process. So here we had 2 standard successful runs of our spin rinse dryers. What I'll do now is provide a really brief overview of the controller and its functions, so that way our customer viewing this video will have an initial feel for how to use these systems. First and foremost, you can come into recipes. Initial passwords are always zeros. Here you can customize the 5 recipes and the auto cycle. It's as straightforward as choosing an item, changing the time, and pressing save. You can also turn on and off your Q rinse here, which is used for rinsing to a certain resistivity set point. And then you can just change your recipes by indicating these icons here. You can also go into our process settings, which says you are now leaving this page. And from here you can custom set the dryer, so that way you can turn off heaters if you'd like, change the N2 being on or off, as well as the anti-static. Okay? So from there we can also show our alarm screen. If you ever have any alarms, then this is where they would indicate right here. Say the system had a rotor uprighting failure, this RSP alarm would indicate, and you'd be aware of what was failing on your system. You can also mark the system as down by pressing this button right here. This will simply have the system flashing on and off, so when you mark it down, it's visually different than the operator, so they don't use a system that's not prepared for process runs. Coming into the menu, we are now taking a look at some of the menu options we have here. We have analytics and logbook. Going into there will allow you to choose different days and review the recipes that were run and any alarms that might have occurred. Those can also be downloaded to a PC hooking up to our USB port here. We also have our manual mode right here, which will allow you to, I'm entering manual mode, allow you to individually actuate, and the motor, the valves, sensors, resistivity, manual mode, anything that you'd like to actuate right here can be done. So it's a great way to confirm that the system is working properly or perform any troubleshooting that you need. A quick example would be turning on the light. We also have an N2 saver feature. This allows you to prevent nitrogen waste when the tool's in idle. So this will be an important feature that's programmed on, so that way in between process runs, the system cools down the heater and then turns off the nitrogen to prevent waste. We also have some process settings, which we already showed, as well as controller settings such as volume, brightness, and other things like that. So that's just a brief rundown of the way our controller works here. Wanted to show that, but all that information is also listed in the manual. I'd like to thank you for taking the time to view our video source inspection for today. Again, my name is Daniel, and I filmed this for Sitek Process Solutions. If you'd like to learn more about our products, I encourage you to visit our website at www.sitekprocess.com or give us a call at 916-797-9000. And if you'd like to reach me directly, dial extension 2201. Thanks again for your time, and I hope you have a great day.